What's going on, guys? As you see behind me, the UFC has announced the White House card, UFC Freedom 250, and the UFC fans are not happy with this card. Let's just say this thing could have been a lot better. People were hyping it up, saying we were going to potentially get John Jones versus Alex Pereira. That was the rumor that we were hearing. People saying we were going to get Ilia Topuria versus Justin Gaethje, or Ilia Topuria versus Islam Makhachev. I'm sorry, we got Ilia Topuria versus Justin Gaethje. And let's just say, I am pretty frustrated with this UFC White House card. I thought it could have been a lot better. I was, tapped in with Ariel Helwani. I thought that we were going to get John Jones versus Alex Poatan Pereira. And, to be honest, it seemed like John Jones thought that fight was going to get done as well. But the UFC did not make that happen. And so today I want to do a breakdown of what the White House card could have been, but a realistic version, right? Now that we know that John Jones and Alex Poatan Pereira is not possible, now that we know Ilia Topuria versus Islam Makhachev is not something that's going to happen for the White House card, let's break down what this card should have been. We're going to make 7 fights that should have been the UFC White House card, and we are going to compare it to this card built right here. And so we're going to keep the 2 main fights the same. Kicking us off at the top of the bill for the White House card, Ilia Topuria versus Justin Gaethje. This is going to be a great fight, but you would think they would put a fight in which the American would even have a remote possibility of winning this fight. And I'm sorry if you hear a little bit of background noise behind me. I'm in a new house on vacation, and the dishwasher makes a whole lot of noise. It almost makes me as angry as this UFC White House card made me. But Ilia Topuria versus Justin Gaethje at the top of the bill. We know it'll be a great fight, but it's just going to be sad to watch Justin, the All-American Gaethje, go out there and get sparked out in round 1 by Ilia Topuria. Ilia Topuria has too much power, is too clean on the feet, honestly is just better everywhere than Justin Gaethje. And, Ilia Topuria is the best fighter in the world. If Ilia Topuria was fighting Islam Makhachev, give me Ilia Topuria. Give me Ilia Topuria. And Justin Gaethje is going to have to pay. As Ilia Topuria said in his Instagram post, Justin Gaethje is going to have to pay for Islam Makhachev running away from this fight. And so Ilia Topuria versus Justin Gaethje at the top of the bill. It's not the insane super fight that we were hoping for, but still a great fight nonetheless. It'll be very, very entertaining at the top of the card. And so moving onward, Alex Poatan Pereira versus Cyril Bongomin Gane. And I'm so tired of Cyril Gane. Let's be honest. I'm so tired of Cyril Gane. Let's think about Cyril Gane has this infinite title shot glitch. He got to fight Francis Ngannou for a title, got waxed and lost. He didn't get waxed, right? He got out-wrestled by Francis Ngannou. He got to fight John Jones in a title fight. He got to fight Tom Aspinall in a title fight. Now he's getting Alex Poatan Pereira in a title fight. And this man he's so frustrating. He's never come through in these big moments. He lost to Francis Ngannou, lost to John Jones, poked Tom Aspinall in the eye. What makes Cyril Gane so deserving of all of these big fights? And I know he's a very, very talented heavyweight, and he picks people apart at range. We saw him absolutely beat up Tai Tuivasa, but who hasn't beat up Tai Tuivasa at this point, right? Cyril Gane is just not that impressive. He's a pretty impressive fighter, but his resume is not that impressive. He doesn't deserve all of these opportunities. He's getting so many opportunities, and I hate Cyril Gane. And give me Alex Poatan Pereira. Alex Pereira is going to spark Cyril Gane out. I think Poatan has too much pressure moving forward. I think Gane is going to try and skirt away on the back feet, but no one at heavyweight can cut off the cage like Alex Pereira has, right? Alex Pereira going for his 3rd belt in the UFC. Dana White called Alex Pereira the face of the UFC, and I think that's what we're seeing right here. Alex Pereira fighting anywhere, anytime, against anyone at any weight class that he can make. And Alex Pereira going for his 3rd belt, a UFC interim heavyweight belt. And I think Alex Pereira will absolutely beat up Cyril Gane and be fighting Tom Aspinall next. And so this is where the card starts to get a little bit different. Give me Aljamain Sterling versus Alex Volkanovski in a title fight at the UFC White House, right? I know what you guys are thinking. What, Evloev versus Murphy is happening in London in March, right? The winner of that fight is supposed to get Alex Volkanovski. Yes, right? The winner of that fight can still have Alex Volkanovski. But we deserve another title fight, another huge fight. Alex Volkanovski, a UFC legend, and Aljamain Sterling, an American out of Ray Longo's camps, trains out of Long Island with Marab, right? And so Aljamain Sterling represents, he's going to come out with that American flag. And I think that's what this card is really lacking. This card is lacking Americans getting a big opportunity that they can actually win a fight in. And don't get me wrong, I still think Volk would piece up Aljamain Sterling. But Aljo has a much better chance than, let's go back to that. Justin Gaethje's going to get murdered. This is horrible. We're all going to watch Justin Gaethje's murder on live television at the White House. The American is going to get slaughtered by the Spaniard, the Georgian, Ilia Topuria. It's sad. It's sad. And so, at least in this fight that we're getting, Alex Volkanovski, he's probably going to beat Aljo, but Aljo has a real chance here. And this is giving another American a huge fight, adding a third title to the UFC White House card, increasing the hype even more. And I just think this card is really lacking. If we go back to the card originally, right, in this spot, we're getting O'Malley versus Zahabi. Imagine if instead of that, we're getting Volk versus Aljo for a title, right? And the winner of that fight will be fighting Evloev versus Murphy in, September or October. And so, moving onward, we're keeping the Sugar Show on the card. Give me Sean O'Malley versus Corey Sandhagen. I know what they were trying to do by making Sean O'Malley versus Amin Zahabi. Amin Zahabi his best skills are moving around at range, kind of picking apart, being a dog. But you're not going to be able to outdo Sean O'Malley at that. That is exactly what Sean O'Malley's game is. And so by having Sean O'Malley versus Corey Sandhagen on this card, we're, one, ensuring an American wins, and two, we're getting an incredible stylistic matchup. Corey Sandhagen is lights out on the feet, incredible movement. Can wrestle, unlike Amin. Amin Zahabi can wrestle, but he's not going to, right? That's not Amin Zahabi's game. We saw Corey Sandhagen out-wrestle Marlon Chito Vera for 25 minutes. We've seen Corey Sandhagen take people down. We've seen Corey Sandhagen have great fights versus Umar Nurmagomedov. And, that was a name that I was thinking about giving Sean O'Malley. But I like keeping Americans on this card. This is ensuring an American wins, American versus American matchup. O'Malley versus Sandhagen, a stylistic, beautiful fight. And I know this is what the fans were hoping for, right? In the Instagram comment section of the UFC card, people were Zahabi? Just think about this. Think about if Amin Zahabi, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But if Amin Zahabi beats Sean O'Malley on the White House, where does this leave us? A Canadian just beat an American on the White House card, and someone with such a small name like Amin Zahabi is now getting this spotlight, this attention. I don't think that's good for the UFC. I don't think that's what the UFC needs or wants. And if you hear that sound go away, I'm praying that you can't hear that sound through the mic. But my dishwasher just turned off. Let's go. Big ups for us. But Sean O'Malley versus Corey Sandhagen, that's the fight to make. O'Malley, I think he would still get this one done, picking Sandhagen apart at range, but it would be a much closer fight. It would be a much more competitive fight, and it's a stylistic beauty. It's a stylistic beauty. And so, give me O'Malley versus Sandhagen. Moving onward, we're keeping it with the American theme. Jamal Hill versus Khalil Roundtree. We remember Khalil Roundtree absolutely freaking dogging it in that, in that Alex Pereira fight. Khalil Roundtree piecing up Yuri Prohaska for the first 2 rounds and then getting walked through by Mr. Walk Him Down, Yuri Prohaska. And so Jamal Hill getting a big opportunity here. The former UFC light heavyweight champion fought Glover Teixeira and won the belt. People forget, man. Jamal Hill has written his name in the UFC history books as a UFC light heavyweight champion. Right? He won that vacant belt versus Glover. People forget, man. Khalil Roundtree is a really good technical fighter who fights with a lot of pop in his shot and is very active. And so I think by putting this fight out there, we are getting a certified banger. We know these two guys, these two southpaw strikers, are going to go to war. Let's just say Jamal Hill has the nickname Sweet Dreams for a reason. Khalil Roundtree is an absolute dog. He's jacked. He throws big punches. We remember that big knockout. I forget. I'm drawing a blank on who it was, but he literally held his fist up and he was about to come down on him, and the ref called it off. It was the big uppercut to left hand. It was oh man, who did he send wobbling? Oh, I'm drawing a blank. But that man, he did the chicken dance. It was Anthony Smith. He sent Anthony Smith back to the freaking shadow realm. That was incredible to watch. Khalil Roundtree versus Jamal Hill. By putting this fight together, we're ensuring a crazy, crazy UFC light heavyweight scrap. And that's what the fans want. That's what we all want to see. Two Americans going at it on the White House card. And by having one of these guys getting back on the right track, it really gives them the spotlight, the attention to potentially propel themselves back into title contention, especially with Alex Poatan Pereira, who both these guys have lost to, moving up to the heavyweight division. And so, moving onward, we are going to put a fight that was already made. This fight was made for UFC Miami, but this fight should be moved to the White House card. Give me Josh, the Incredible Hulk Hokit versus Curtis Blades. I'm going to keep this one short and sweet. Josh, the Incredible Hulk Hokit, 2-0 in the UFC. He's got that Chael Sonnen personality, always yapping away. Curtis Blades, the American, a wrestler who's known to scrap in the heavyweight division, has only lost to the best of the best. Curtis Blades, we remember that incredibly boring fight against Francis Ngannou, right? But Curtis Blades, Josh Hokit, it'd be a great fight. And I really believe that this would be great for, especially if Josh Hokit could win this fight, if he can pull it off. If the Incredible Hulk could get his moment on the UFC White House card, man, Mr. Wannabe Chael Sonnen is great on the mic, and I can see it right now, the speech for Josh Hokit on the White House card. That would be incredible. And so I'd like this fight to be moved from UFC Miami, UFC 327, to the White House card, get two American heavyweights scrapping it out on this card. And so, moving onward to the last fight, the opener of the UFC White House card. Give me Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Colby Covington. And this is actually a fight that I watch my fellow MMA YouTubers. MMA Guru, this was on his UFC White House card. I think this is an absolute scrap. Wonderboy Thompson, incredible fighter for us to watch. We just saw him not just saw him get knocked out, but in his last fight, we saw him get knocked out by Joaquin Buckley. But Wonderboy was piecing up Joaquin Buckley on the feet. And I really think this is a very, very clear fight, right? Colby Covington will want to get this fight to the ground. Wonderboy Thompson is going to want to piece him away from the outside. And these are styles and personalities that we want on the White House card. Colby Chaos Covington. He's a big MAGA guy. He's a big Trumper. Wonderboy, Mr. Nice Guy, an incredibly great fighter to watch. Let's give him the spotlight at the end of his career. I don't know if Wonderboy will ever fight in the UFC again, but if he does, this would be the spot for it. Wonderboy deserves this opportunity. He's very, very, very entertaining. And Colby Covington at that White House press conference is going to run his mouth. He's going to bring eyes to the UFC. I'm curious, maybe Paramount doesn't want someone like Colby Covington at a press conference, yapping away supporting Trump, right? Maybe Paramount doesn't want that. But this fight would be great. The build-up to this fight would be fantastic. Colby Covington, I want that personality on the White House card. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, an incredibly great fighter. And this would be a wonderful fight to open the night. And so let's go back to the White House card, the actual card, and let's run through what our card would be. In that Ilia Topuria, Justin Gaethje spot, we're going to keep it the same. We're keeping Topuria versus Gaethje. Pereira versus Gane, we're going to have Pereira versus Gane stay in that co-main event spot. But then we're going to add a third title fight. We're going to have Aljamain Sterling, the former UFC bantamweight champ who is now at featherweight, fighting Alex Volkanovski, a UFC legend. And then we're going to have Sean O'Malley on that fourth fight spot instead of Ruffy versus Chandler. Chandler's a great personality. And honestly, if Chandler McGregor could be on this card, I would love it. I would love it. But Chandler isn't the draw that the UFC thinks he is. He really isn't. And so in that Michael Chandler spot, we're going to put O'Malley. We're keeping him on the card. And we're going to actually have him fight Corey Sandhagen instead of Amin Zahabi. And then in that Bo Nickel spot, I mean, let's be real, guys. What has Bo Nickel done? What has Bo Nickel done and Kyle Dawkins done to get this illustrious spot reserved on the UFC White House card? This is not meant for them. We want top-level matchups on this card. And so instead of that fight, we're going to put together Khalil Roundtree versus Jamal Hill, an absolute banger. And then that Garcia-Lopez fight, I love Steve Garcia. He's a very entertaining fighter. The Mean Machine, Steve Garcia, baby. And he's one of my favorite UFC fighters. But Diego Lopez doesn't need this spot on the UFC White House card, right? I think Steve Garcia versus Diego Lopez is a great, potentially, main card fight for International Fight Week in July, something like that, right? But let's put Josh the Incredible Hulk Hokett, the up-and-coming American at heavyweight in that spot, and then we'll add a fight to this card. This card was originally supposed to be, it was going to be 6 fights. Then Dana said it was going to be 7, and then a fight fell through, so it went back to 6. But to open the card, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Colby Covington. That's the UFC White House card that they should have made. Let me know what you think about the White House card in the comments. Let me know what you think about the card that I just made in the comments. And if you enjoy content like this, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.